Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Hey, I'm not the one who's saying it, even though I'm the guy who's been saying it for the last couple of years. It's not me, don't get angry at me, leftoids. This time, it's your buddy at MSNBC. You know, over the last couple of years, we've been called extremists and radicals for calling out the clear, glaring hypocrisy relating to the, let's call it, legal treatment and media circus news coverage relating to January 6th, the clear hypocrisy with how Trump supporters and Trump protesters are not only treated, but represented in the media, as opposed to left-wingers. You know, left-wingers literally burn down entire neighborhoods, and CNN is on the scene with burning freaking buildings and crazy rioters behind them, and they say it's a fiery but mostly peaceful protest. We all remember that, right? But then, of course, Trump supporters who walked throughout the Capitol in protest of what they felt was an unfair process, and of course a process lacking transparency that they believed they were entitled to, even though most of the clips show an actual, mostly peaceful event. Almost like a field trip, those people have been treated like domestic terrorists. Those people have been deemed the greatest threat to the homeland by Joe Biden and the American media. It's been dubbed the insurrection. Some people said it was worse than Pearl Harbor and 9/11. And by some people, I mean the frickin' sitting vice president of the United States.
Not only a place on our calendars, but a place in our collective memory. December 7th, 1941. September 11th, 2001, and January 6th, 2021.
Well, obviously, that was never fair. Obviously, I guess since day one, we've had a valid point in our criticisms and are calling out of this clear, glaring hypocrisy. And now even the left-wingers, even deeply partisan, lifelong Democrats at MSNBC like Al Sharpton are pointing out that very clear, glaring hypocrisy. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. Let's have a conversation. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so just take a look at this.
How do the Democrats, how do all of us on that side say January 6th was wrong if you can have the same pictures going on college campuses?
Good Lord, don't make a parallel with January 6th.
You lose the moral high ground.
That has happened, though.
Okay,
that has happened.
So we know what's going on here.
I really want to focus on that one quote right there. Quote, how do Democrats, how do all of us on that side say that January 6th was wrong if you can have the same pictures going on college campuses? I mean, wow, I never thought I'd say it, but I'm just going to say it. I agree with Al Sharpton. Ooh, that was weird. I can't believe I just said that. But it's true, and I stand by it, at least on this particular point. Al Sharpton is right. Al Sharpton is mirroring exactly what we've been saying forever. You have individuals who are simply present on the day of January 6th, and they're being charged with a corporate statute that was drafted into law after the whole Enron scandal. They're twisting and manipulating this law to charge people with a felony that I think has a max potential sentence of 20 years. They're putting people behind bars for, I think I've seen sentences anywhere from 1 to 4 years at a time for, quote, obstructing an official process because they engaged in these protests. Meanwhile, we had an entire summer of riots where I think over 30 people lost their lives. A former police officer was brutally murdered in cold blood. I think there was over $2 billion in insurance claims from businesses being smashed up, looted, burnt down. Police officers and the National Guard were assaulted, police departments were destroyed and burnt, federal courthouses were Molotov cocktailed. I mean, we saw real, hardcore political violence across the country, but the entire time that was happening, the media was telling us it was a mostly peaceful protest, a summer of love, that there was just frustration boiling up and people were fed up. They were fed up with all the injustice. Injustice, give me a break. People wanted an excuse to smash a Walmart and steal 70-inch TVs. That was okay, that was justified, but an actual justifiable frustration that boiled up into a protest on the opposite political side, that's an evil, extremist-led insurrection by American Hitler Donald Trump. Give me a frickin' break, please, I actually need a break from this absolute stupidity. Well, thankfully, it seems like we might have a little bit of a break as the left-wing media comes to a, let's call it, small moment of realization. I'm not going to give them full credit, of course not, because again, we know exactly why they're doing this. They're not doing it for ethical purposes or for ideologically consistent or intellectually consistent purposes. No, they're doing it because they know it's bad optics. The left is panicking that their young, radical little base, their extremist activist base, is once again in the midst of an election cycle, making them look bad.
But I can tell you, the riots on college campuses, the riots at the Chicago Convention in '68, all of those things moved my family from being Democrats their entire life to being Republicans. I remember I was young, and I remember my parents asking, what in the world is going on in this country? And of course, you know, they were raised in the Great Depression in rural Georgia. Kind of hard for them to hear rich kids on campus of Harvard or taking over campuses at Columbia. But if you're offended by this, please, I'm trying to help you. I don't want Donald Trump to get elected, all right?
There you go.
Trying to help you. If you're too stupid to figure that out, you change to another channel, because we're sorting through this as a country, and this is not helping.
As Joe Scarborough admits, these events playing out in the public will turn a lot of people into Republicans, will turn a lot of people off from supporting the side that's represented here. And I don't blame these people. The left has become so incredibly radicalized. I mean, look at what they're doing on college campuses.
Taking a look around the encampment after police have gone through here and forced the pro-Palestinian demonstrators out. CHP tells me 100 people were taken into custody during this operation. It took about 3 hours. What a mess.
It's disgusting. And again, more hypocrisy. This comes from the people who are supposedly trying to save the planet as well. They're complete clowns. I mean, just look at this LARP.
In a spectacle of misguided valor, the privileged warriors bravely advanced, placing their faith in Rubbermaid and patchouli oil. But the guardians of order stood resolute, repelling the advance like the steel curtain.
These people are LARPing. It's a frickin' LARP. They're being radicalized and indoctrinated. This is the reality of what the left wing has become in the modern day. And so obviously, if you're a Democrat with your head screwed on straight, or you're an independent or more middle ground voter who hasn't picked a side yet, you see this stuff and you're gonna go straight into the Trump camp. What side do you want to be on? The radical pro-terrorist organization left that masks up in black-clad gear and engages in this ridiculous behavior? Or the opposite side, which is the more conservative Republican side that shows up at these events and sings the national anthem? Or like the frat boys that we covered yesterday, who stopped these radical activists from pulling down the American flag at a college campus that left-wingers were attempting to remove and replace with a Palestinian flag. Come on, it's a no-brainer. What's happening right now is some of the most prime-time left-wing narratives. Well, those narratives are falling apart, and not only that, but lefties are having a bad day in the media. You know, a bad optics day, or let's call it a bad optics past couple of months. The Democrat Party is in complete disarray. Independent-minded folk are ditching the DNC like never before, and Democrats are having a very, very hard time reining in, keeping under control the radical element that they've helped foster. They defended these radical activists in 2020. They played defense for them. They obscured reality. They distracted and lied. They essentially covered for them, but eventually you reap what you sow. They have allowed this activist indoctrination, this extremism, this left-wing extremism to fester in the university system and in the college system for a while now, and now it's starting to bite them in the behind. They're looking radical, extreme, and they're also looking like complete partisan hypocrites. all that's missing from this puzzle, all that's missing from this equation is a massive electoral loss for the DNC and their puppet Joe. That's the only thing missing here for this story to wrap up and for hopefully sanity to be restored at least to a certain extent. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.